Great to be with you again. So here we go. I've got some exciting verses to share with you this morning, and it comes from just reading the Psalms out of the Passion Translation last night, and something just jumped out to me. I'm like, isn't that so like God? So I want to read to you Psalm 71, verses 6 and 7. It was you who supported me from the day I was born, loving me, helping me through my life's journey. You've made me into a miracle. No wonder I trust and praise you forever. Many marvel at my success, but I know it's all because of you, my mighty protector. So it was the first part that really jumped out to me. It was you who supported me from the day I was born, loving me, helping me through my life's journey. And I mean, some stuff's happened this week that there was something months ago that God had told me, yes, this is for you. And then seemingly everything else just said no to it. And I'm like, God, did I hear you right? I'm also sure I heard you right with that. So what gives? And goes, no, you did hear me. Keep on believing. And then this week, it just sort of all came to play. I got this phone call and God was just saying, yes, see, I told you it was me. And so when I read that verse, I'm like, you know, God just works things out, right? Like it says in Romans 8, verse 28, for we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And it just reminded me of a few books, movies I've read, movies I've seen. And I won't say the specific names because spoilers, but it's a general theme that plays through any story with a hero going on an adventure. So let's make our own story, right? So here's the hero going through the quest, trying to reach the end. And our incident, right? So our hero suffers through some bad time, through the wind and the rain, and hiding in a cave, trying to keep warm by a tiny little fire, because the previous thing that happened, they lost all their pack. They lost their cloak when they got caught in a river, and now they're freezing and trying to dry off and keep warm. And then maybe what happens next is the enemy come by and they're shooting these arrows, and the arrows are fiery darts. They're the fiery arrows. So the hero is now running from flames and this bushfire that's coming and trying to engulf them. And one thing after another thing after another thing happens to our hero. And there's wild animals chasing them, and there's thieves, and they're hungry, and they're tired, and they're exhausted. And they get to this point and they just say, why me? And isn't that like us with God sometimes? And so in certain couple of these stories, they get to this point, and then maybe there's a godlike character in this story. Maybe it's the fairy godmother, who's a poor substitute for God. But anyway, this benevolent being that has power to do something, and power to fix all these problems. And the hero goes, why did I have to go through all this? Where were you when I was doing this? And this being, this God character, is like, really? Take another look. Look back. What really happened when those things happened? Where was I in those things? And as the hero looks back, they begin to see that God was with them all along. That God was with them during the flood, during the fire, guiding them the right way that they needed to go, because had they tried to go the way that they originally wanted, then they would have ended up with worse problems. But God, in his great mercy, was steering them this way instead. Even though they had to go through troubles that way, they realized that God was with them. Just like it says in Isaiah 43, verses 1 to 3. But now, thus says the Lord, who created you, O Jacob, who formed you, O Israel. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. And here's when the hero realizes, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. So what does the hero realize? The hero realizes from the very beginning, God, the author of the story, the one who planned it all out from the beginning, was there. And so let me read from my favorite psalm from the Passion Translation. One of my favorites, at least. It's hard to choose. And hi to my friends joining. Lorraine, hi Deb. Thank you for joining me. Love to see your comments, because it's not about me doing this alone, is it? Heroes need companions, and I'm glad I've got you guys. Anyway, back to it. Okay, Psalm 139. And I really encourage you to go back on these scriptures. They're in the comments. That's right, Lorraine. Emmanuel, God with us. And isn't he with us always? So, Psalm 139. Read these for yourself. Read the whole thing. I don't have time to read all these scriptures for the whole chapters, but the whole chapters are amazing. Verses 3 to 6. You are so intimately aware of me, Lord. You read my heart like an open book, and you know all the words I'm about to speak, even before I start a sentence. You know every step I will take before my journey even begins. The hero was wandering, but God knew every step. And what happens next? You've gone into my future to prepare the way, and in kindness you follow behind me, to spare me from the harm of my past. With your hand of love upon my life, you impart a father's blessing to me. This is just too wonderful, deep, and incomprehensible. Your understanding of me brings me the wonder and strength. See, God was there before. God is there after. Other versions say, I think it says, you hem me in before and behind. He's all around us, right? And so when our hero sees this, when our hero sees that God was there from the beginning, orchestrating our steps, that he'll be there in the future to pick us up when we stumble again, and when the enemies come and face us again, the hero is filled with a new courage and a new strength and wonder that God did it all and was there from the beginning. And so what does the hero say next? Well, of course, there's more. There's the final battle that the hero has to face. There's this moment that they meet with God so they can now see and go through with the final step. And what does King David say when he writes the Psalms? This is when he's just been delivered from all his enemies. And it's in, I think, 1 Samuel 22, but it's also in Psalm 18, which I'm reading from here. And he realizes that God had been with him from the beginning. And now he's got victory over all of his enemies. And he says, Psalm 18, verse 29, because he's so filled with God's strength that he's like, I can do anything. I love it. It says, by you I can crush a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall. I've been struggling with health stuff the past few months, quite a while. But on Thursday night at karate, I was just filled with this physical strength then I was like, yeah, I can do it, and I was tired, but then we did sparring. I'm like, no, I can do this. I can do more. And I pushed and pushed and pushed through, and I was filled with this extra energy. And the sensei's counting down as we're sparring until they say stop. And I'm just like going, going, going. My partner calls me a brawler because I'm just going for it. We had so much fun. But the thing was, I was filled with this extra strength. I could do anything, right? My friend calls me a pocket ninja because I might be small, right? But hey, I can go for it. By God's help, I can crush a troop, and by him, I can leap over a wall. You see, God is always with us, always watching out for us. He is our ever protector, our guardian protector. He is always watching, and he never stops watching. He never sleeps, as it says in Psalm 121. And I'm reading this out of the Passion too. I look up to the mountains and the hills, longing for God's help. But then I realize that our true help and protection comes only from the Lord, our Creator who made the heavens and the earth. He will guard and guide me, never letting me stumble or fall. God is my keeper. He will never forget me or ignore me. He will never slumber nor sleep. See, while we sleep, while we rest, he is watching. He will never slumber nor sleep. He is the guardian God for his people Israel. Jehovah himself will watch over you. He is always at your side to shelter you safely in his presence. He is protecting you from danger by night and day. All danger, it says. Keep you from every form of evil calamity as he continually watches over you. You will be guarded by God himself. If you could have any protector, how awesome is it that you've got God himself to guard you, right? You will be safe when you leave your home, and safely you will return. He will protect you now, and he will protect you forevermore. And in knowing that, how can you fail? Knowing that, we can have the confidence in his strength, in his, well, as it said in Psalm 18, right? By you I can crush a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall. In him we can have the confidence to do all that he's called us to do. And even in those hard moments when we stumble and fall, he's there to pick us up again. And in Jesus' last words, it says in so many Psalms, but this one's not a Psalm. Matthew 18, verse 20. Remember, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. He is with you. He is your protector. And in that we can rest and trust in him. Why? Because he loves us too. He's not only our protector, but he's our loving God protector. So be blessed this week. Go in his strength. Go in his courage. He is with you. Believe it. See you next time.